In this video, we are going to go through complex sentences. So what exactly is a complex sentence? Well, it consists of a dependent clause and an independent clause. If you remember, a dependent clause is a phrase. It's a group of words that is not a sentence. Whereas an independent clause, also called a main clause, is a sentence. It can stand on its own. So to make a complex sentence, we have to add a non-sentence, which is not the same as nonsense, but a non-sentence to a sentence, and this will equal a complex sentence. Let's take a look. The boy who lived next door went fishing last weekend. So this may strike you as a rather simple sentence, but remember, if I got rid of everything after that red mark, and I said the boy who lived next door, that in itself would not be a complete sentence. This is what we call a relative clause. It refers to the boy and it describes the boy. But because of this clause, we now have a sentence that is a complex sentence. It combines the boy went fishing last week with this relative clause. So you can think of a relative clause, therefore, must be a type of dependent clause. B, skipping merrily down the road, Sally waved at her friends. So here we have the dependent clause that begins with skipping merrily down the road. So this describes Sally, and therefore this is a complex sentence. Because remember, skipping merrily down the road is not a sentence in of itself. Sally waved at her friends is a sentence. So just like that, a non-sentence dependent clause plus an independent clause gives us a complex sentence. Now, typically, when we are using or creating complex sentences, we use these conjunctions. These are called subordinating conjunctions. So, let's take a look at C. Though he was late for class, he walked slowly down the hall. The thing about subordinating conjunctions, they take a sentence, he was late for class, and they go in front of it, in front of that sentence. And by doing so, they no longer make a sentence. Though he was late for class, that is not a sentence. It is a dependent clause. And we add that to, he walked slowly down the hall, which is a sentence. A dependent clause plus a sentence equals a complex sentence. Let's look at D. After running a mile, Barry sat down exhausted. Another example. After. Point in time. After this happened, Barry sat down. Barry sat down exhausted is a sentence. Of course, after running a mile is not a sentence. And we have here, again, this word after. That shows us that we are now dealing with a complex sentence because we've taken a dependent clause, or we've taken a not sentence, and we've added it to a sentence. Finally, there is E. He was already full and needed only a glass of water. Now, my question is E a complex sentence? And you may pause, you may think, you may look, and you may say, yeah, because and I said something about conjunctions. The thing is, we always want to make sure that we are combining, when we have a complex sentence, separate sentence. He was already full and needed only a glass of water. This sentence, however, is not complex. In the lesson on compound sentences, we'll see that the conjunctions, also known as the fanboys, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can go to the video on that. Those will create compound sentences, but just because you have an and here, and he is either A or he is A and B, two things, already full and needed a glass of water, oops, that's B, that doesn't mean that you have a complex sentence. Again, you need these subordinating conjunctions to make sure that you have a complete sentence. And you can't simply have the word and here. That would not give us a complex sentence.